Hey, happy and grateful people. Once again, here I am, and I have some more breakthroughs and lessons to share because it's an ongoing thing for me. I'm an evolving spirit, an evolving person, and I have breakthroughs all the time. And there maybe I'm just a philosophical person. I just like can't help but think about the greater lessons and everything. I'm like, what am I to learn from this? How can I apply this? Like that's basically what gets me excited and fills me with passion in life is like um is that whole deeper diving, let's get lessons out of everything. And maybe there's not always lessons in things, but there are if you're looking for it. There are always lessons. So I want to talk about one of the most simple and underrated tools for discernment. And this is a specific topic, again, one of those that I'll talk about many times. We all have the answers within us. We all literally have the blueprint for everything ever created in our DNA. Scientists will lie to you about, oh, you have a bunch of junk DNA. It doesn't mean anything. And that's quite mind-blowingly stupid and ridiculous if you look into like what has been discovered about strands of DNA and what they were able to extract from just one little tiny, tiny strand. So discernment, we all have this God-given discernment ability. We have all of these senses we can tap into. We can always get the answers from within. And a lot of people just don't know how to get there. They're like they rely on other people, they rely on coaches. I've been there. I've relied on other people to validate and like give me guidance. And that's okay. Like it's okay to rely on like a handrail until you don't need a handrail, or training wheels until you don't need training wheels. But that only happens if you practice. It only happens if you exercise those muscles and work those things out. And discernment is one of those things I've spent a lot of time working on. And intuition is something I've spent a lot of time working on. And so I just want to share my lessons, and hopefully I can help you with the most simple way of dialing in. And I can't say it's the most simple way. To me, it's really simple. And this is a great way to hone in your discernment and trust yourself and know that your gut is speaking true, and that know when to do what and what to follow. Now, I'm in pretty much constant communication with God, my higher self, and that's a whole nother aspect of like getting clear answers and all that. And it's another muscle that can be exercised. It's another line of communication that can be open more and more and more. The one that I want to talk about is your feelings. Like when you get a knot in your stomach when someone talks to you, or if you have someone that comes around, and you're wondering if you should be doing a business deal with them, but after talking to them, you feel like hours of your life were sucked away and there's a bunch of energy taken away from you. And that's a pretty simple, it's like a knot in your stomach and you're kind of drained. I mean, this is so simple to tune into, like, how do I feel right now? How does this person make me feel? How does this business venture make me feel? How does this book I'm reading make me feel? How does this relationship with this person make me feel? And this isn't about cutting everybody out. This is about like doing what feels good, because that ultimately dials in your discernment. And I'm talking about feeling joy. I'm talking about that warm fuzzy feeling you get, when something just feels so right. Like some people, you have their chosen gift that they exercise their whole life, and they just know that's their thing. They know that's their thing. They know that, and they get filled with joy every time. Well, that's the kind of feeling I'm talking about, is that like that joy you get from knowing something. You start to anchor that, pay attention to it when it happens, and you can test this. Take some things that you are already completely sure about. Like for me, I'm completely sure about my wife, my partner, my best friend, my twin flame. I'm completely sure about how much I love my kids, how much I intend on, being there for them forever, and like whatever it may be. Like that makes it easy for me to bring up those feelings. I'm sure of my wife. Another thing is I'm fully committed to the business that I run, and I'm sure of that. So when I think about it, and I think about these things that bring up those feelings, automatically they bring up feelings of, yes, I know this. I feel good inside. I feel good living my purpose. That feeling, anchor that feeling, and then recognize it when it comes up. Ask questions about everything that happens in life. Ask yourself, ask God, or ask your higher self, and really ask it in your mind or out loud. It works both ways, but however it works best for you, tune in using that and ask, how do I feel about this? If you have to. Sometimes it's like obvious. You just get this fucking not, I mean, not in your gut, right? And you're like, this isn't bueno. So that sometimes it's really obvious. But the good thing about anchoring in what feels right is that's the most important. Like you anchor in, oh, I know this feels good, then I can go that direction. I know that feels good, I'll go that direction. Um, and it's pretty. I think the other side of things is pretty obvious. It's like a knot in your stomach. You're like, that doesn't feel good, or like I said before, you feel drained. And if you have to put on the training wheels, then a great question would be is like, how do I feel about this? Anything. It could be like you're in the grocery store looking at different food, and deciding on whether or not you want to buy it. Is this good for my body? Whatever it is, ask, how do I feel about this? If you get really good at knowing, hey, I feel good about this, I feel bad about that, then you don't need validation and approval and guidance from everybody else, or anybody else for that matter. You just stay true to yourself, doing what you know feels good. Feels good. And that's one of the most simple tools I can recommend to people is do what feels good and anchor that feeling so you recognize it. Get that discernment dialed in. It's more important now than it ever has been for people to know what is right from wrong. Like dial it in so that and I'm not talking about what's right for everybody. I'm talking about what's right for you and your path in cooperation with everybody. So discernment is important, and it's really not that hard to dial it in. You just pay attention to those feelings of good and what feels bad, and remember what that feels like, so you can ask the question, how do I feel about this? And then it brings up the feeling, you got your answer. Seriously. And then you can gauge like how intense that feeling is too. It's a whole nother thing. Some people put a number system to this. They're like 0 through 10, this is how I feel about it. For me, it's like, does it tell me yes? Do I get a solid yes in my mind? Is God telling me yes? Is my higher self in my ear going yes? And it comes along with a feeling that matches the yes. So simple tools, just got to practice, just got to exercise. That's how we build muscle. That's how we build knowing. That's how you learn to drive a car so well that it's like thoughtless, that you literally go to like another, what do they call it? Shoot, I just forgot what it's called, but that level of consciousness that you hit, like when you're in hypnosis, when your brain can do all kinds of other things because you're in this hypnosis state. When you started driving a car, it wasn't that way. You're like on edge, and you had to pay attention to everything, and you had to be all in that moment consciously. Well, over time, you practiced, and it became so damn natural. And that's what can happen with discernment and knowing exactly how you feel and what you're going to do in life and how you're going to do it, because you dialed in the discernment. It's all inside you. All the tools, all the awareness that you seek is inside you. I know I'm just like on a video roll today, and that's okay. There might be more coming because I'm just reliving these lessons I've been learning, and programming them into myself more and more. I want to be a master of discernment, and I intend on being a master of discernment, and I'm practicing and becoming a master at discernment, and then I could level up in all these other ways as well. That discernment will lead me directly, the fastest route to all of the places I've ever desired to be. And it can do the same for you. Like, share, subscribe for more impact, and hit a homie up if you need anything. I'm here for you, and I love all of you, and stay happy and grateful.